Ethan had everything: money, power, and a beautiful wife, Sophia. Born into a wealthy family, he had never known struggle. Yet, his wealth wasn't enough to satisfy his reckless desires. He had a habit of chasing after women, using his charm and riches to seduce them, only to abandon them when he got bored. One day he met a kind-hearted young woman, Amani. She used to work with her mother in the market. She was different, genuine, loving, and innocent. Ethan, in his usual fashion, wooed her with lavish gifts and false promises. He lied to the young girl that he had kids but separated with his wife. He became their daily customer. She fell for him, believing his lies about love and a future together. But when Amani became pregnant, Ethan's true colors showed. "I can't have this ruin my life," he told her coldly when she shared the news. "Take care of it. It was your fault for being careless." Amani and her mother refused to get rid of the baby. She thought he would come around, but instead, Ethan cut all ties, blocked her calls, and left her to fend for herself. Heartbroken, she struggled to survive. Her mother's market was too small to support them, and with no support, Amani was forced to work tirelessly while carrying his child. Meanwhile, Ethan continued his life as if nothing had happened. He made a lavish wedding and enjoying his wealth. He never once looked back. Years passed. Ethan's business faced a series of unfortunate events. Investments failed, fraud accusations surfaced, and his once loyal partners betrayed him. His riches dwindled, and with them, so did his so-called friends. The final blow came when Sophia, tired of his infidelity, divorced him and took half of everything. Broke and humiliated, Ethan found himself jobless, his reputation in ruins. He roamed the streets, looking for a place to stay. One rainy evening, desperate and hungry, he entered a small restaurant, unaware that fate had brought him full circle. A young boy, around 5 years old, was sitting at a table, laughing with his mother. Ethan's heart stopped when he recognized Amani, her face older, but her eyes still filled with warmth. She turned and met his gaze. Shock, then pity, crossed her features. "You look terrible," she said softly. Ethan swallowed hard. "I lost everything," he admitted, his voice shaking. "Amani. She shook her head. "You don't have to say it." He looked at the boy, his son, his flesh and blood. A pang of regret stabbed through him. "I was a fool," he whispered. Amani sighed. "Yes, you were." But then she smiled at her child, her voice gentle. "But I had no regrets. Because I got the greatest gift from you." Ethan's eyes welled up with tears. He had thrown away something priceless. And now, he had to live with it. Time continued its relentless march. The once handsome, arrogant businessman had aged into a frail old man. His wealth had vanished, his influence a distant memory. Worse still, his children from Sophia, whom he had raised in luxury, wanted nothing to do with him. Lying on his deathbed in a cold, empty hospital room, Ethan longed for a familiar face. He had given his children everything: expensive schools, vacations, and the finest luxuries. Yet, when he needed them the most, they abandoned him. Alone, weak, and barely holding on to life, he had the door open. He turned his tired eyes toward the figure entering the room. A doctor. But not just any doctor. It was his son, the one he had abandoned. The boy he left Amani to raise. Dr. Lucas. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. Dressed in a white coat, a stethoscope around his neck, Lucas looked every bit the successful man Ethan once dreamed his children would be. Except, Ethan had never been a father to him. Lucas approached, checking his chart before looking down at the man who had ignored his existence for so long. "Doctor," Ethan rasped. You're my son." Lucas's expression was unreadable. "Yes, I know." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. I was wrong. I made a mistake. An ambulance arrived with another patient, Robert Carter, the man who had raised Lucas as his own. The man who stepped up when Ethan walked away. Lucas, and now a respected doctor, rushed into the emergency room, his heart pounding. Two men were fighting for their lives. One was Ethan Reynolds, his biological father, a man who had ignored his very existence. The other was Robert Carter, the man who had been there for him every step of the way. The man he called Dad. Lucas stood frozen as the nurses looked to him for direction. There was only one life-saving procedure available at that moment. Only one man could be saved. Tears welled in his eyes as he glanced at Ethan, weak and frail, eyes pleading. Then he looked at Robert, unconscious but surrounded by memories of love, laughter, and kindness. The decision was clear. Save him, Lucas said, pointing to Robert. Ethan gasped, his breath shallow. Lucas, please. Lucas turned to him, his expression pained but firm. You made your choice a long time ago. And now, I've made mine. As the doctors and nurses rushed to save Robert, Ethan lay back, tears streaming down his face. He had spent his life chasing wealth, lust, and power, only to lose the one thing that truly mattered, family. And as his vision blurred, he realized the harsh truth. Karma had come full circle. And this time, there was no escaping it.